Hi there, welcome again to the WebX online course on front-end web development. So in this video, we are going to proceed with our contact form. So as you can see in this sample, the contact forms looks something like this. This is the input that I put just now. So the contact form should look something like this. So let's head over to our code editor. And in our code editor, in the HTML file, scroll to the bottom of HTML file under the portfolio section. Now under the portfolio section, let's define the contact form, contact section. And as usual, copy the contact section, copy the contact section and give it a contact section n. And okay, tap in. As usual, we will give this a tag section, class section as well, and the ID should be contact. Then let's close the tag. Alright, so inside the section, give a div with class of container. Okay, so inside here we also need the h3 with a class of subtitle, if you recall that. Subtitle, and this will be contact. You can write contact me or something, that's up to you. Next, let's do a iframe. Okay, so let's do an iframe. This iframe is another tag that is available in HTML. We use the name of hidden iframe. Hidden iframe, give it an ID, also hidden iframe. Style, let's display this to none. So actually this display none in here is the inline styling, because since this is something that I want to eliminate from the CSS file, let's put it here. Okay, so now let's give another on load, and it is equals to if submitted okay, if submitted, then reset form. This is reset, sorry, typo. Reset form, close the curly braces, and that's all for the iframe. So don't worry if you don't understand this line, just move on and we will see that in action later. So now let's generate our form. Let's give the form should have a class of contact form. Let's give a class of contact form. We will also give this form a shadow. We use back the shadow dark class, and the ID of this form is the contact form. Okay, so action, this form needs to have an action, so we will leave the action blank here first, and we will input the action later on. So after the action is method is equals to post. Let's give target is equals to hidden iframe. Okay, the role is a form, and then on submit. When the form is submit, what should it do? It will return validate form, because we need to validate the form before we can send it. Alright, so close it, and now you should have the close tag here, and let's tap it down so you can have the form here. So inside the form we need to have, let's give a div with a class of input fields. Okay, close the div, and inside this div we will give 3 inputs first. Let's give an input tag. What is the type of this input? Is a text input. It's a type, it's text, and required is required means that this field is required, compulsory. The class input ID is equals to name, so we will give this input ID of name, and name is equals to n3 dot. Okay, don't worry about what is this entry dot. Placeholder is equals to name, and let's close it. Okay, then we will just copy this, paste it for another 2 times, and we will change this to email. So the placeholder should be, let's change this to email, and the last one should be subject, and change this to subject. So now you have 3 inputs, and we can view this in the HTML. Just open with live server. So I'll just copy this link and I will open in my Firefox. Okay, so this is what the live server shown in the contact section. Okay, we can see that here is the input, and it is not that nice. Let's style it later on, and we need one more section. So another section is, let's give it a div also, div with a class of message. So let's put it MSG. Okay, so here we will have a text area. So let's give this text area required as well the placeholder. Okay, placeholder should be message ID, message as well. The name is equals to entry dot, and that is all for the text area. So what is the difference between this text area and the input? Later we can see that. And after that, let's use the button tag. So the button tag have a type of submit. We need to have a submit button, and the name is submit. So the class, let's give it a class of btn, and the button will say send. And the last one, we'll give a div where the ID is success. success ID is success, and the style is color. We just style here red, it's color. So what is this? We'll see that later on. Don't worry if like it is a bit confusing, and then we give a line break inside here. Alright, so save this, and then we can view it inside the here. So now you can see a text area is an area where you can control the size of this text area, while the input is only one line. And now we have this send button, but when we click on it, you can see it says this field is required. Alright, so that is the function of required. So let's style these things. Okay, let's style it. Go to the style.css file and just scroll all the way to the bottom part. Alright, so now we are in the bottom part. So in the bottom part, first we will target the contact form. Let's target the contact form. We give it a margin of 0 and 20%. 0 and 20%. Let's give a padding of up down 40 pixels and left right also 40 pixels. Save this, and now we will target the input fields. FIELDS, input fields. So let's display, and then we want to flex it, and the flex direction should be column. Later we'll see what this means. Margin is 4%. Save it, and now let's head back to this one, and you can see now they are flexed in column, means that they are now in one input text, one input column. They will take one line. So as you can see, the placeholder just now is the name, email, subject, and message. Right, let's continue to the styling. Input fields is dot input fields. Dot input fields, FIELDS. In this dot input fields, we want to have a width of 100% along with the message MSG. So save this, and now we should be able to see that they have the width of 100%. Alright, let's move on. Dot input fields, and now we want to target the inputs. Okay, we want to target the input and also the text area. So let's go to .msg and we want to target the text area. Alright. So what we want to target is that we need to give it a margin of 30 pixels and 0. So background, let's give a transparent background. Transparent background. Border, we do not want any border. Border bottom, we just want a bottom border. So bottom border will be 2 pixels. Solid RGBA, let's give it 54, 126, 223 and 1. Padding 12 pixels. Color will be black. And width will take up 100%, and also font width. Font width will be 500. Save it and let's view it. So now you can see this is what we have. Looks not really nice. Don't worry, let's just style it. Okay. This is margin right. I think I made a mistake here. This is margin right of 4%, and it should give a nicer view. Yes, it should give a nicer view now. Okay. MSG. Let's confirm class of MSG. Should take up width of 100%. Okay. Now let's again do the MSG text area. We want to scale the height to be 150 pixels. Save that. Okay. After that, let's scale the button. So the first thing we want to do is text align, center, the background. Let's give it background of RGBA 54, 126, 223 and 1. Padding of 15 pixels. Border radius. Let's give it border radius of around 5 pixels. The color of the text should be white color. And then let's text transform. Text transform to uppercase, and it will have a width of 100% as well. This is a typo. Width of 100%. Border, no border. And let's change the cursor to pointer. So we change the cursor to pointer means that the cursor will change when we hover over the button. Let's view that. If you see, when I hover over the send button, the cursor changes. Right? Let me reload this. And yes, when I reload, you can see the whole thing looks nicer. Alright, so seems like our contact form is available, but there's something else we need to do where it is about the back end. So when I type in my name here, Lennon, let's say give me an email, lennontan@gmail.com, and we give anything. When I send, nothing will happen, right? When I send, nothing will happen. Hi. When I send, nothing will happen. You don't receive an email. Why? Because we don't have the backend. So in this course, we are very responsible for your function backside. So we will use a very simple backend tool, which every one of us have one, which is through Google Forms and Google Drive. So we will show it later on. Let's move on. As you can see, this is almost the end of our website, but it doesn't have any space down there. So let's add something at the bottom there. So we will add the copyright. So after the contact section, let's add a copyright section. Copyright section. Okay, so the copyright is very easy. Just give a this div class is the copyright. Close the div, and then inside the copyright here, just give a &n copy semicolon and give your name, Lennon Tan 2020. Okay, just save this. Go to style.css before we can style it. Let's see. Okay, just resend. Alright, so you can see this is the copyright. And just now we do & copy. This is this C icon here. So we want to scale this thing. We want to style it to look nicer. So let's go to the style.css and scroll down. Okay, looks like I missed something. So let's do button.hover. When we hover over the button, what we want to do is we change the background color. Let's change the background to RGB. Let's change to 35, 96, 175. So semicolon, and we want to do a transition as well. Transition of all 0.3 seconds is, and copy this. Do it for the WebKit. Save it. So last thing is the copyright. So let's do text align, should be in the center. Let's give a margin 100 pixels and 0. So let's give a font weight of 500. Save it. Now we view it, and you should be able to see there's some space. So now basically your website looks quite nice. And the thing we need to touch up is the contact form backend, and also along with this navigation, because when we click on the navigation, it does not have any sort of reaction. So we need to take care about this and the contact form. Since this video is more talking about the contact form, so we will focus on the contact form. So what to do? First, go to your Google Drive. Let's go to google.com. Go to your Google Drive, and we will create a new Google Forms. We'll use Google Spreadsheet as our backend. So for example, let me name this contact form. Alright. So the question should be exactly the same as your question in the form. We have name, we have email, if you recall, we have subject. This is a short answer required, and the last thing is the message. So this one is paragraph, required everything. Now you should be able to save this form and view it, preview. Okay, so if you can preview the form, now we want to do something very interesting. Right click on this form, go to inspect element. Okay, so let me zoom in the inspect element for you. Should be here in the inspector. Okay, now you go to the name here, select inspect element once again, so you should be directed to this place. As you can see here, you got name and a bunch of number, right? So let's copy this number, not the first number but the second number. So your number might be different. Let's copy this, go back to our code editor inside the index.html, paste it after the entry. So for name is here, and again go back, do the same thing at the email, inspect element, and you will see this one. is this number, the second one, not the first one, but the second one. Copy this, go back to your editor and paste it after the entry dot. Then go to the subject, do the same thing, and now you should be able to see here subject, and it is this one. Copy back to the code editor, paste in, and do it exactly the same for the message. Inspect element. Now you can see the message have this thing, this one. Copy and paste it in your entry here. Alright, so what this means, we are linking our form to the Google form. We will see the magic later on. So another thing is, you go to here and try to search for this one, action. Okay, if you can see this form action, let's copy this. Action is equals to this thing. Copy, go back to the code editor, paste it inside the form here, where action here. Paste it in. Now your form is basically linked to your Google Forms. So let's try that out. Alright, let me close this one and close this one. So when I head to our website using the live server, let's preload this, head to the contact section, let me try Lennon, and we give an email of Lennon Tan, supposed to be .tan, at gmail.com, for example, subject hi. So when we press on send, let's go to the contact form, and you can see there's one response here. It's Lennon Tan, hi and hi. It is exactly what we key in here. So let's open it in a spreadsheet. Press this create spreadsheet, create a new spreadsheet, and click on create. So I will allow pop-ups. So you should be able to get a spreadsheet with a timestamp, name, email, subject, and message. Alright, so let's go to add-ons. Get your add-ons. Get add-ons. Okay, search for yet another mail merge. Mail merge, this one, YAMM. Yet another mail merge, this one, with a rocket. So install it. Let's install. Allow. So this is very convenient as we are using the Google service. It is free. Done. We can close this and go to add-ons. You can see there's yet another mail merge. Okay. If you first time install the yet another mail merge, it will take some time to load. So don't worry, just wait that. Okay. Close it. Add on yet another mail merge. So we'll use start mail merge. So you can see working on. So let's wait for it to load. Create a new draft. Alright. So let's head to our inbox. And how do we do this is when someone submit the form, we want to get a notification through our email. So this can be through ourselves, and the subject will be form submitted. So how do we input who submitted and the content of the form? We can use double curly braces. Let me zoom in. So you can see double curly braces name, and then double curly braces subject, double curly braces message. So this basically means in the contact form we want to get name, subject, and the message. Of course you can have the email as well. Let's input the email here, right? So this is a draft. Just close it. So now you should be able to see there's a draft here. and then we need to compose another one to, right, to, we will just put the email. Subject is thank you to the person, right? So thank you to the name. You can say hi name, thank you for contacting me. I will reply to your message shortly. Best regards, and then. So you can try to style it, put your name, so on and so forth. So this is a draft as well. So make sure you do not delete these two drafts. Alright. So add on null mail merge. We have start the mail merge. Okay, continue. So sender name should be your name. For example, Lenatan, and this should be sent to the thank you. Alright, and send one email. Okay, so now you can see the merge status, email sent. Okay, just click on OK, and we'll see the tracking report. Okay, once you have this, let's go to configure form submission notification. Right? Set notification rules. Notify one or more email respondent, notify one or more address of all respondent, and notify address submitted by the form. So we will notify by using thank you, and the recipient column is the email, and this one is the form submitted. So once there's someone who fill in the form, one email will be emailed to yourself stating that there's someone who want to contact with you, and there's another email to be sent to the recipient to the person that filled in the form. In this case is this Lennon Tan, because this email does not exist, so the merge status is bounce, and you can see address not found. So let's just save this. Okay, so I think I just forgot another thing is we just go back to the configuration. Let's check another box. I forgot to check one box. Alright, in this configuration, check this one, track email, open, click or bounce, and save it. Okay, so now returning to our live server here, let me just change this to a valid email. And when I press send button, you should be able to see that in the Google form there are two responses now. In the contact form, there's another responses here also. So let's check my inbox. As you can see, let's refresh the inbox. Me myself, I fill for myself, so you can see Lennon, fill, hi and hi. So thank you Lennon, this is directly sent to the person that fill in your form. So by this way you can have your form working. Alright, so this is how we use Google as a backend. Alright, let's just close this and let me just clear this off. I want to clear this off. Let's clear it. Alright, now we are done with the backend. So once we are done with the backend, but sometimes there are some jokers that will give you some names that are very weird. For example, it really gives you joker 1, 2, 3 and you don't know who they are. So we want to prevent this, and that is why we need to do a form validation through the JavaScript. So now head to your JavaScript, main.javascript, and we just delete the spacing here. So let's go to here. Alright, first we'll do var submitted is equals to false. This is just a variable declaration, and we will do function validate name. Okay, we want to validate name, and here we can, so validate name, you need to have these braces, then the curly braces, and hit enter, and then var name is equals to, we just go to document dot, we want to get the element by their ID. So what is the ID of name? It's basically just name. So if you go to the index, you can see at the name section there's an ID of name. So we target by the ID dot value, so we can get the name value. Okay, dot value, this is lowercase, and if, okay, watch this thing, you just need to copy name dot match. Okay, be careful, this here is an exclamation mark here. So match what? Slash, just follow me, type A to Z, then A to Z capital, close it, 3, comma, and then open bracket, question mark, colon, square bracket, A to Z and capital A to Z, plus, close the bracket, 0 to the dollar sign and another slash. Whew. So what is this? This is what we call a regex. A regular expression is basically seeing whether your name is consists of A to Z in the lowercase and A to Z in the uppercase. So if you want to learn more about this regular expression, actually you can just go to your browser, you can type in the regular expression in JavaScript. So you can see a lot of some sort of weird symbol here, right? Nah, you can see here, so you can learn more in here. But basically what regular expression use is to do the validation. So by this time you just need to copy this first, so curly braces. So if the thing does not match this or match this thing, means that if the name match with this thing, then it is true, but we put a exclamation mark, means not match. If the name is not within A to Z, so we need to alert the sender that your name is not valid. So let's use a function of alert, please enter your correct name. Okay, give it a semicolon, return false, else return true. Okay, so now we just copy this thing, paste it underneath. Now it's not validate name, but instead we want to validate the email. So let's change the var to email, document get element by email dot value. So we want to change this thing again, the regular expression. So let's just remove the first regular expression, slash, and then we have the capital A to Z, the lowercase a to Z, and then // hyphen open square bracket 0 to 9, 0 hyphen 9, close the square bracket, asterisk square bracket, inside the square bracket should be a alliance, and then we have another square bracket, A to Z, then asterisk again, open square bracket, / dot, again A to Z, but this time no capital. 2 4 $, close the slash. So what this means is this is how we validate the email. So we have another extra there. Okay, so this what means is that this is the alliance. So before the alliance, you should have A to Z, and 0 to 9. So if you can see, my email address is lenontan2020, so it's a valid email. And after the alliance, you should have something A to Z. So in our case, it's maybe Gmail or Yahoo, and then a dot something with a length of 2 to 4, maybe .uk, .us, .com, .edu. There are a lot of domain there, right? If it doesn't match, return false. Please enter a valid email address, valid email. Alright, save this. Now we will use another function of reset form. So we want to reset our form when the form is submitted. Let's do document.get element by ID once again. Now the ID should be contact form. Okay, dot reset means that we want to reset the form, and then console dot block reset. Console dot block reset means basically we just want to print the word reset, okay, on the screen. And then let's declare another function of validate form. Okay, in this validate form, we will use if not validate name or not validate email. Okay, return false. Or else, this is when the email and name key in is not valid, so we return a false. Or else means the value key in is valid. Else we will change submitted, change it to true. var thank you, let's declare a thank you message. Your message was sent successfully, thanks, and semicolon. So let's do document.get element by ID success, where the success dot append what? Append the thank you message, thank you, and return true. So let's just save this and let's see what this could actually do. So when we do on submit, if you recall in the form here, action is the Google form and target is the hidden iframe. On submit, return validate form. So when we click on the submit button, it will go to the validate form. So validate form says check validate name and validate the email. So it will do the validation of name and validate the email and name here. So when both of the name and email is valid, then it will just append the message. So what means by append is basically add the thank you message at the very end of this success ID. So where is it? Let's see where's the success ID, and if you can recall, ID success is here. So it will add the message right here, right before the close tag of this div. Okay, so after the thing is submitted, there is a target hidden iframe. So in the target hidden iframe, it will if submitted, we have changed the submitted equals to true. If the submitted is equals to true, then it will reset the form. This is what it does. So let's try this. Go to the form. Let's just We send, reload the form. So if I use Joker123, send. Let's reload this one. Go to contact. Hi 1, for example, send. Okay, we need to fill up. Lennon Dawn 2020. alliancegmail.com. Subject hi. Message is also hi. Send. You see, please enter your correct name because the letter 1 to 9 is not valid. So now our form is very successful. So with this, our contact form is now function, and we use Google service as our backend because backend is not the main focus in this free course, and our free course is only focused on the front end. So if you want to learn backend, maybe you can keep learning about PHP and so on. There are a lot of backend frameworks that you need to pick up if you are interested in. Alright, so that's all for this video. I know this video is a little bit of messy and hectic, but I hope you still enjoy it. And if you have any question regarding this video, you can drop your question in comment section on YouTube, or just drop your question in our Discord channel, Discord server, and we will try to help you to answer and solve all your problems. Right? Thank you, and see you in the next video.